students, this is again KG Mishra with the new video on for class 12th on chapter electric potential and capacitance. Okay, in the last video we have done the series and parallel combination. We have dealt with some numericals also which were asked in the board examination. Now in this video we are going to discuss the topic that energy stored in a capacitor. Okay, so here is our topic, that is energy stored in a capacitor. Now you see, this is a parallel plate capacitor which has been connected to a battery of potential difference V. See, this charging takes place gradually, okay, and then finally the potential difference between the plate becomes equal to V. But initially the potential difference is less because charges are less on there. Okay, suppose at any instant of time, particular time, okay, we found that charge on this plate is plus Q and this is minus Q, okay, small q, and capacitance of this capacitor is C, and this potential difference between the plates or potential at each plate, this plate is V and this plate is minus V. Okay, that is the potential difference between the plate is small v. Okay, suppose the potential difference between the plates is small v, not capital V, it is small v. This is different than this, okay, at any instant of time. Now what happens, suppose we want to put a charge delta Q, okay, on this plate. Will this plate will accept it? No way, because see, this already has got lots of positive charge due to which the potential is V. Suppose you want to put a charge dq on this, so positive will repel. Okay, so battery has to do some work in order to place here dq amount of positive charge. Okay, so how much work the battery has to do, that we have to find out. So work done by battery to supply small charge dq to the positive plate of capacitor is how much? Obviously it is dW is equals to V dq, because potential difference is V. Okay, now from where I got this, just remember class 10, what was there? V is equals to W by Q was there. Okay, so W is equals to V into Q. As charge is less, so work done also will be less. Got it? So that has come from class 10. Okay, don't worry. Now in class 12th also, during potential we have defined this. Now this much work battery has to do, okay, to provide it X means dq charge. Now this battery is going to do the work against any force. Yes, which force? Obviously it is electrostatic force. Okay, at electrostatic repulsion we can see. Now what is the nature of electrostatic force? It is a conservative force or non-conservative force? Conservative force. So when it is a conservative force, then we very well know, according to concept of potential energy, when a work is done on a body against a conservative force, then our work gets stored in that body in the form of its potential energy. Okay, so whatever work we are going to do to give the charges to these plates of the capacitor against the electrostatic repulsion, that work of the battery will get converted into electrostatic potential energy of this capacitor, and it will be stored in this capacitor. Actually, many times people ask question, where this energy is stored? It is on the plates, outside or inside in the medium between this. So generally students get confused. Okay, energy is stored in the medium which is there in between the plates. Okay, that is the correct answer. So let's move ahead. From here what we can write, so total work done, that is equals to integration of V dq. Okay, and dq is a variable, so initial charge is 0, final charge is suppose capital Q. Okay, now the question arises, is V constant? Small v is constant? It is no, because this is the potential at any instant t, so it will keep on changing as the charge on the plates increases, and finally what will happen? Finally the potential difference between them will be equal to the potential difference applied by the battery. Okay, so we have to place the value of V in terms of Q and C. So what I can write? Can I write equation number 1? Okay. Now, according to definition of capacitance, what we can write? Can we write Q is equals to CV? Okay. So from here, V is equals to what? V is equals to Q by C. This is our equation number 2. Okay. From definition of capacitance, we know this, and from here we got the value of V. Got it? Okay. Now from equations 1 and 2, just note it down. Okay. Now I'm going to run. From equations 1 and 2, what you will get? See what you will get. W is equals to integration 0 to Q. Okay. Q by C dq. Now we need to integrate this. I'm going to write this out. Okay. Obviously, C is capacitance is a constant, so we can take it out. We have to integrate Q dq. What will the integration? Obviously, it is x raised to the power n is integrated as x raised to the, sorry, I can write this, okay, because x raised to the power n dx integration gives us x raised to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1. I think you remember that formula. Okay, so the same way we can use here 1 by c, and we can write here q square by 2 because its power is 1, so 1 plus 1 is 2, and here also 2. It is 0 to q. Okay, that is the work done. Okay, I can remove this formula now. Okay, now we can put the limits. For that I have to again rub. If we are putting the upper limit first, no, we put the upper limit first. So what we get? 1 by c, it is q square by 2 minus 0 square by 2. That means finally we are having q square by 2c. It is q square by 2c. Or we can write half q square by c. That is our work done. Okay. Written? Okay. Now what do we have to write? According to definition of potential energy, what we write? W is equals to U. So we can write U, that potential energy is equals to 1 by 2 properly Q square by C. This is one expression for electrostatic potential energy stored in the capacitor of capacitance C, and when it is having a charge Q on it. Okay, but see, this energy can be written in 3 ways. Okay, because we, according to definition of capacitance, we know Q is equal to CV. So 3 variables are there, and here how many variables are appearing? 2 at a time. When 2 at a time are selected out of 3, how many ways we can select? 3 ways. Okay, so we can just move ahead now. So energy in a capacitor can be have the expressions like this. One expression we got, another expression. See, we know that now from the definition Q is equals to CV. So Q is already appearing. Let us remove this. So at the place of Q we can write CV. So what will get? U is equals to 1 by 2 C square V square, because Q square was there. So from here you can write Q square is equals to C square V square, and you can put it value here at the place of Q square. So we will get C square V square by C, and this C and this square cancels out. What we get? U is equals to half C V square. This is the most utilized formula, okay, which is utilized maximum, half CV square. Now you can get the third form also, because we have written in the form of Q and C, we have written in the form of C and V. What else we can write? We can write in the form of Q and V. Okay, so for writing in the form of Q and V, what we have to do? uh, let's see, Q and V. We want to write in form of Q and V, so C has to be removed. So from here, what we can write, C is equals to Q upon V, and we put it here. What will be? U is equals to 1 by 2 Q upon V into V square. So this 1 square and this V cancels out, and what we finally get? Finally, we get U is equals to half QV. This is again a formula for electrostatic potential energy. So we got all three formulae for electrostatic potential energy, which is stored inside the capacitor, okay, of capacitance C, and when charge Q is stored on that, and the potential difference between its plate is V. Okay. See, suppose this is in the case of series combination. Okay, this is subheading for under this energy stored in a capacitor. Suppose there are capacitors and they are connected in series. Okay. Now, when they are connected in series, what is constant? That is charge. Okay. So, suppose their capacitances are C1, C2, and C3. So, obviously, charge of them will be same. Okay. And we know that potential energy stored on first one, that is how much? It is obviously Q upon 2, Q square upon 2C1. On second one, it is how much? Q square upon 2C2. On third, it is U3 is equals to Q square upon 2C3. Because this is the formula, Q square upon 2C. Okay, and their capacitances are different, but in series the charges are same. So that's why I have taken the same charge. Now, what is the total potential energy? What you will get, it is equals to U1 plus U2 plus U3. Okay, and that you can write straight away. It is, you can take this Q square common and 2 also common. You will have what? 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Okay, that means you have to get the equivalent capacitance in series, and then you can use it. Okay, so that means in series we can write straight away sum of the energy, the potential energy of all the capacitors is equal to. So in series we can say from here, no, that what is total potential energy of the combination? It is the potential sum of the potential energies stored by different capacitors. Okay, that's what we can get from here. Now, if they are connected in parallel combination, then what will happen? Let's see. Written. Should I remove this? Okay. Now, we are going to discuss about the parallel combination. Again, see, this is the parallel combination. Again, capacitors are C1, C2, and C3. Okay. In parallel, what is same? The potential difference is same. Okay. So, in parallel, what we write? We write the C 1 by C. We write Cp is equals to C1 plus C2 plus C3, and potential difference is same. Now, what is the energy of one capacitor? It is U is equals to we can write 1 by 2 C 1 V square, because potential difference is same. U1 is equals to, same way U2 is equals to what? It is half C2 V square, and for third it is U3 is equals to half C3 V square, because potential difference is same in parallel. Now, if you want to find out the total potential energy, what we do? We use half, okay, that is equivalent capacitance, they are connected in parallel, okay, into V square, that's what we get. Now, what is this P? Can we put the value of P? This one, so we get half C1 plus C2 plus C3 V square. So what we'll get? You can see from here, it is half C1 V square plus half C2 V square plus half C3 V square. That's what you will get. Okay. Now, what is this half C1 V square? U1. What is this half C2 V square? Sorry, C2 V square. This half is there, okay, not V2. Okay. So, This one. What is half C3 V square? This one. So can we write that from there? And for parallel combination, what we get? Just note it down. Noted. Okay. Can we write U is equals to U1 plus U2 plus U3? Okay. So it is either series combination or parallel combination. If you want to get the total potential energy, you are supposed to add the potential energy of individual capacitors. Okay. Clear? So now with this you don't have any confusion in calculating the total potential energy in case of series combination or parallel combination. Okay. Okay. So next topic is energy density of an electric field. Okay. See, suppose we have got two plates of capacitor. Okay. And such that the area of the plates is A, separation between the plates is D. Okay. And the medium is free space. So what is the formula for capacitance? C is equals to epsilon naught A by D. Already we have derived. This is our question number 1. Now what is the electric field between the plates? Obviously, electric field between the plates is given by A is equals to sigma by epsilon naught. Okay. From here, what we can write? Can we write sigma is equals to epsilon naught into E? Okay. Okay. So we got this. This is our equation number 2. Now, from here, what we can do? Can we find out the charge? Charge is equals to what? Sigma into E. Because it is surface charge density. Surface charge density into area gives the charge. Okay. What is the value of sigma from equation 2? It is epsilon naught E into A. That's what we will get. You can write here using equation 2. Okay, that's what you can write. So you got Q is equals to epsilon naught E into A. Okay. So let us mark this equation number 3. Okay. Now what is the expression for energy stored in a capacitor? That we know very well. U is equals to 1 by 2 Q square upon C. Okay. This is our equation number 4. Okay. Done. Now we have to put the values from equations 1 and 3 in equation 4. Okay. So let us put the values. Okay. Putting values from equations 1 and 3. 1 and 3 in equation 4. 4. Okay. Equations 1 and 3 in equation 4. What will get? See, U is equals to 1 by 2. What is the value of Q? It is epsilon naught E into A. That is square we have to write. See, Q square is there. So, epsilon naught square, E square, A square. Okay. Upon C is there. What is the value of C from equation 1? It is epsilon naught A by D. That's what we get. Now we can rub this. Now see, can we take this D up and this A and this square will cancel out? So what we will get finally? You can see from here 1 by 2, this epsilon naught also will cancel out 1. So we will get epsilon naught E square, okay, A D. That's what you will get. See, this epsilon naught is cancelled out with this square. So only epsilon naught is left. E square remains as it is. A cancels this square part, only A will be there and this D will go up. Okay, so we are getting half epsilon naught A square AD. Okay, now just tell me what is AD? This U we have got, that is half epsilon naught E square AD. Now just try to visualize this AD. Okay, how can you visualize that AD that I am trying to do for you? See, so I've just tried help you to visualize this. Suppose these are two plates, okay, although they are of not same area, okay, but suppose they are of same area. Let me take another book, okay, so that I can show you the same area. Two books which have got the same area. NCERT of 9th and 10th. Okay, so 2 books are there, they have got same area. Now this area A is A, okay, and D is what? Separation between them. So A into D will give you the volume. Okay, okay. So area into separation between the two plates, that gives the volume of that capacitor. Okay, so this is the volume of the capacitor. Now if we write like this is energy and this is AD. What is this? This is energy per unit volume. We denote it by small u. Okay, not capital U, small u. And this will be what? Once you taken this AD this side, you will have to half epsilon naught E square. So this is the energy density associated with electric field E in that capacitor. Okay, so we got the expression for energy stored in that associated with that field, okay, which is developed in between the plates of a capacitor. Okay, that is how much? Half epsilon naught E square. So energy density remains almost constant if the medium is not changing. You can see it from there. Okay, and the electric field is not changing. Two things. Okay. Our next topic is redistribution of charges. Okay. Suppose see you've got two conductors. Okay, maybe two conductors or two spheres or two capacitors. Okay, are there. Okay. Capacitance of this is C and this is C1 and this is C2. Okay, and suppose it has got charge Q1 and this has got charge Q2. Okay, so what happens? What about the potential of this? Its potential is, let it be V1 and its potential is V2. Okay, initially. Now what we can write? Can write that Q1 is equals to C1 V1. Okay, and for the other one we can write Q2 is equals to C2 V2. Okay, now whichever has the higher potential, if we are bringing them in contact, whichever has the higher potential, charge will start flowing from that to the conductor which has got the lower potential, because charge always flows from the higher potential to lower potential. Clear? Now as the charge will start flowing, suppose from here, suppose this V1 is higher than V2. So what will happen? Obviously charge will flow from this to this when we are bringing them in contact. And as the charge will flow out of this and go inside this, what will happen? Its charge will keep on increasing. As its charge will increase, what will happen? Its potential will also increase. But at the same time, charge is coming out of it. So its charge is decreasing. So its potential is also decreasing. So what happens? See, initially its potential was high and this potential was low. And as charge is moving into this, so its potential is increasing and potential of this is decreasing. So see, this is decreasing and this is increasing. A point of time will come when both will be at the same potential. Okay, and when both are at the same potential, then the flow of charge stops. Okay, and that same potential is called common potential. Clear? So when we are bringing two bodies in contact, between them the flow of charge takes place from a body of higher potential to a body of lower potential, and it continues till they acquire a common potential. Got it? Okay. Now see, how the charge is distributed, that we are going to discuss. Okay. Now for this, what will happen? What is the total charge? We have to see from here. So okay. So suppose these two are brought in contact. Okay. When they brought in contact, there was a flow of charge, and after flow of charge, what happens? Both acquire similar potential. Okay. And obviously, suppose one has acquired charge, let it be capital Q1, another has acquired charge capital Q2, and both have acquired potential V. Okay. Now, what is the total? Okay. Now, what we can write in terms of Q1? Okay. See here. Can we write like this? Q1 is equals to C1 V. Okay. And for Q2 we can write Q2 is equals to C2V. Okay, clear? So what is the total charge? Total charge is Q1 plus Q2. So Q1 plus Q2 is the total charge, that is C1V plus C2V. Okay, and that means we can write C1 plus C2 into V. This is the total charge. after redistribution of charge. What was the total charge initially? Total charge initially was Q1 plus Q2, and that is how much? That is C1 V1 plus C2 V2. Okay. Now you tell me, by the law of conservation of charge, what we can say? The initial charge is equals to final charge, because there is no transfer of charge from these two bodies to any other external body, or from any external body to these two bodies. They have just shared their charges with each other only. So conservation of charge can be applied. Okay. So when we apply the conservation of charge between these two bodies, what we will find? The initial charge must be equal to the final charge. Okay. So by using this, what we can say, see from here, when we use the law of conservation of charge, okay, what we will get? Just I am going to leave the last one. Okay. The initial charge must be equal to the final charge. That is Q1 plus Q2 must be equals to capital Q1 plus capital Q2. Okay. And what is the value of this? This is C1 V1 plus C2 V2. What is this? This is C1 plus C2 into V. Okay. Now what we can do? Can we get the value of common potential? C1 V1 plus C2 V2 by C1 plus C2. This is the expression for common potential. First thing. Okay. Second thing, how the distribution of charges takes place between them. Okay. This very important expression we have got. This we will be utilizing later on. Now, Q1 is what? Q1 is C1 into V. Q2 is C2 into V. If you take the ratio of them, Q1 upon Q2, what you will get? C1V by C2V. V cancels out. So what you will get finally? Q1 upon Q2, that is equals to C1 by C2. That means the final charge distribution will be there in the ratio of capacitance of the capacitor. Okay. The capacitor which has got more capacitance will acquire more charge. The capacitor which has got lesser capacitance will acquire lesser charge. So distribution of charge takes place according to the capacitance of the capacitor. Clear? So these two important results we have derived in this. Okay. Okay. So that's all for this video. Okay. In the next video we will discuss the loss of energy between the capacitors when they are connected. Okay, with each other. Till then, take care. Keep on studying. Okay. Bye bye.